Good morning and welcome to Farm Factor. I'm your host, Jamie Bloom. Today we start with Duane Toews, who wraps up his visit to the Great Bend Farm and Ranch Expo with Darren Dale, the show manager, and Randy Bradford, owner of Bradford Cattle Dogs. Next, enjoy this week's Kansas Soybean update. And then we catch up with Kyle Bauer, who visits with Scott Daly, a nationally known horse trainer. We'll end with a look at the Trans-Pacific Partnership and why its swift approval is so important to U.S. beef producers. It's all coming up on Farm Factor. Stay tuned.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com. This segment is brought to you by Kansas Wheat. Learn more at rediscoverwheat.org.
Welcome to Farm Factor. Let's join Duane and Darren Dale at the Great Bend Farm and Ranch Expo and learn how the combination of great vendors, volunteers, and sponsors made this year's event a rousing success for attendees.
Duane Toews joining you once again here on KFRM. Wrap up from the Great Bend Farm and Ranch Expo. Chance to catch up with Darren Dale, a show manager. And Dale, what a 3-day run it's been in Great Bend with great crowds and a great opportunity here at the farm show.
Yeah, it turned out absolutely fabulous. Thank you for having me on. And we started off on Wednesday and Thursday, and today on Friday. Crowds are unbelievable. Runways are packed, buildings are packed, and it's just really humbling for me to see it all come together. And I want to thank my wife. She does a great job. And then the Chamber of Commerce, they provide 350 volunteers this year. And so it's really a blessing to have those guys take a day, if not 3 days off work, and come and donate their time. And we appreciate that tremendously. And it's humbling to see them come and do that. And now the vendors hit a home run. And we all know how things are, but when they can come in here and sell a product or service and do good, it's great for the economy and it's great for agriculture.
Obviously, a tremendous lineup that you had once again this year, but farm shows in general, it's really a coming together of rural people, and it's kind of an event to take in.
Yeah, it is an event, and it's nice. You come here and you run into somebody that you haven't seen for a year, or maybe you haven't seen them for 15 years, and it's people that have common interests and a common goal, and there's no harder working group of people than farmers and ranchers. And I want to thank them very much, and I always want to thank our veterans and active military for their service that they provide to us.
You kind of referenced the number of volunteers. It takes a big slug of them to pull off a show like this, but it just works so well here in Great Bend. It's kind of a well-oiled machine at this point.
It is. In the 5th year, we've got the kinks worked out, and it's coming together tremendously. And I always have to thank my sponsors, American Hat Company, Bowie, Texas, makes the best felt and straw, and the Great Bend Co-op with their multiple locations and their great service.
Obviously, windy on Wednesday and Thursday. You kind of had to hold your hat down, but today, boy, just a light breeze. The sun's out, and a beautiful day for folks to finish up the farm show.
Yeah, it's a great day today. I want to thank God for what He does, and today was perfect, and we appreciated it, and we're very thankful for everybody to get here safe and get home safe.
All right, thanks to Darren Dale joining us here as we wrap up the Great Bend Farm and Ranch Expo for 2016. Jamie, we'll send it back to you.
Folks, stay with us after the break. Duane will be back with Randy Bradford, owner of Bradford Cattle Dogs.
Hello, I'm Dr. Frank Lyons from Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center here in Manhattan, Kansas. Darryl was one of our patients that we did about 7 months ago.
I dug trees by hand for years and years and years. In the process, I wore out my rotator cuff. But when I learned about this process, I thought if there's a way to get rid of this pain, then I wanted to do it. So we did it, and it worked. I'm not going to go out and dig trees with a shovel anymore, but I can do the things that I want to do now.
Well, it's been very gratifying to help people with their painful joints and other entities. And it's been especially gratifying to be able to help people who I know and have worked with and known for many years.
We do business with Blueville because of the quality of their work. It is excellent quality, and because they make a commitment to their customers.
We enjoy the benefits of hiring a good company to help us maintain this home.
We will always do business with Blueville. We have for many, many years, and there's no reason for us to look for any other service.
Ag Promo Source is a unique group of marketing specialists with one mission: help your ag business grow. Each affiliate has their own area of expertise, and they work together to bring you advice, products, and services. To get started, visit agpromosource.com. Ag Promo Source. Together we grow.
Support Kansas agriculture education with an AgriTag. AgriTags are available anytime at your county treasurer. They look great on cars and trucks. For more information, go online to ksagclassroom.org.
This segment is brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers.
We're back. Let's join Duane and Randy and learn about the recent resurgence of using working dogs in cattle operations.
Duane Toews joining you with Ag AM in Kansas. And while at the Great Bend Farm and Ranch Expo, a chance to catch up with Randy Bradford with Bradford Cattle Dogs. And Randy, certainly we think about using cattle dogs and working cattle. A lot of folks may be coming back to doing that after getting away from it from a number of years. Some demonstrations that you put on. Tell us a little bit about working dogs and how they can help a guy in an operation.
Of course, the working dogs can help, so they're tremendous. They can do a lot. Probably one dog can do as much as 2 or 3 cowboys can, on a big ranch. And they're just super nice to have around. We use them at home a lot. We dog trial with them. Just phenomenal dogs. And we only have border collies.
As far as working on a ranch, a little different maybe than the competitions that you go to, but how is it that you're able to teach these dogs how to work?
Well, I have to give most of that credit to my wife. She does probably more of the training than I do myself. We do both train some, but she's probably the success story behind the dogs as far as me getting started in it and so forth. But we start generally with a young dog. We try not to start them until they're about a year old. We put it down. We put a recall and that sort of thing on them to begin with throughout the first year. And we put them on sheep and goats and let them play and bite and so forth. And then we don't start cranking down on them to train until they're about a year old.
So as far as that training process, you kind of reference some of those basic commands, obedience, I'm assuming, that you start with and then move on from there?
Yes, we'll start with, like I said, the basic recall, getting it to come back to us by name, and then putting a down on it. And usually we have it that far before we start putting it on stock. And we try to put them on goats or sheep to start with to get a little control on them before we put them on cattle. That's less chance of getting a leg broke or getting a dog hurt. And so that's where we start at. And then generally when they're a year old, we start cranking down on them and start putting the really necessity training on them.
As far as commands, I know there's voice commands, some use whistle commands. Tell me a little bit about why and what you would use each of those for.
Well, we start them off with voice commands, and generally everybody can use a voice command and learn the voice commands. A whistle's a little more advanced, but with a whistle you can hear, that dog can hear you so much further, and especially this wind out here in Kansas, they can hear you twice as far as you can by mouth or even further than that. But through this wind, you just about have to work them by whistle. A voice command works, but the whistle is the best thing.
And as far as we think about in the livestock industry, genetics playing a part, is it the same with dogs as well?
You bet. We've worked 10 years probably trying to get this bloodline that we have here. We've always had some dogs that goes back to what we call the king bloodline. That's really aggressive, strong-headed dogs, and are nice working dogs, but they were really strong-headed to train and really tough, hard dogs to train. And we've crossed them with a bloodline out of Wyoming, Juan Reyes's dog we call Red, and we've got the smarts, we've got the obedience, we've got everything going for us with these dogs, and they're a lot easier to train, and we really like this bloodline.
Our thanks to Randy Bradford, Bradford Cattle Dogs, joining us here on Ag AM in Kansas during the Great Bend Farm and Ranch Expo. Jamie, we'll send it back to you.
Thanks, Duane. Next up is this week's Kansas Soybean Update. Don't go away.
Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture, represents grassroots agriculture. The state's largest and most powerful farm organization stands up for its members through leadership development, agriculture education, legal defense, environmental advocacy, farm safety, and risk management. Members also enjoy money-saving benefits. To join our organization today or to learn more, go to www.kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to Farm Factor and the Kansas Soybean Update.
This is the Kansas Soybean Update. It's brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Chad Bontrager, Deputy Secretary of Agriculture for the state of Kansas, is joining us. And Chad, just recently, we had the latest elections for positions on the Kansas Soybean Commission.
That's right, Greg. The ballots got counted there in the middle of March, and the new commissioners took office effective April 1. So they're getting ready to start their term here just in the last few days.
And it was for District 7, 8, and 9, which would be in the eastern part of the state.
The elections are done by crop reporting district, and the commissioners serve 3-year terms. So this year was 7, 8, and 9, and then we'll do 4, 5, and 6 next year.
How does the procedure work as far as if producers are interested and then also being able to vote in the election?
Well, if you're interested in running, you've got to get registered in the fall. And so the process for registering, you've got to be a resident of Kansas. You've got to be legal voting age. You have to be actively engaged in growing one of the 5 commodities, which are corn, grain sorghum, soybeans, sunflowers, or wheat within the last 3 years. And then you go through a petition process where you get at least 25 other producers to basically sign in support of your candidacy from at least 5 different counties in the district. And you send that in, and then we mail out the ballots in February. And eligible voters have to register with the Kansas Department of Ag, and they also have to be producers of the commodity for which they're voting. So corn producers get to vote for corn commissioners, basically.
And as you mentioned, through the crop reporting districts, it kind of switches every year as far as the election is concerned, and that really goes for all of the commissions that are out there.
That's right. They're all on a 3-year cycle, and so this cycle that we just finished up included all 5 commissions in districts 7, 8, 9, and we'll do all 5 commissions for the seat in the next set of districts next year.
And in the case of District 8 for the Soybean Commission, if no one runs, and then the Soybean Commission itself, they'll appoint the position?
That's right. We have a couple of cases this year where there wasn't a candidate. One was the Soybean Commission in District 8. So in the absence of a candidate, the commission will vote to appoint someone to that position.
Hey, Chad, I appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Greg. Appreciate the opportunity.
That is Chad Bontrager, Kansas Deputy Secretary of Agriculture. He joins us on the Kansas Soybean Update. It's brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Learn more at kansassoybeans.org. For Kansas Soybeans, I'm Greg Akagi.
Hope you enjoyed this week's Kansas Soybean Update. After the break, we'll catch up with Kyle Bauer and Scott Daly, a nationally known horse trainer.
I will take action against herbicide-resistant weeds. I will know my weeds, and I will stop them before they go to seed. I will do whatever it takes to give my crops the upper hand, and I will use multiple herbicide sites of action because every action counts. I will take action, this time for all time.
Now another gardening tip with Annette Jackson.
For the greenest, healthiest, weed-free lawn in your neighborhood, the Fertilome Lawn Care program is the best. Fertilome Lawn Care products provide your lawn with the exact ingredients for proper fertilization and weed prevention. Jackson's friendly staff will call you and let you know when to apply the next step. We can also do it for you, so call or stop in now.
The Fertilome Lawn Care Program is still available at last year's prices, but hurry, time is limited.
Buying a car shouldn't be this hard. And at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego, it isn't. It's actually awesome. Whether you want a new or used car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. Even if you want to custom order a new car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. See Toby's team at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego. We're awesome.
This segment brought to you by Heinen Brothers Ag. Farmers helping farmers by offering quality aerial and ground application, fertilizer, ag chemicals, and anhydrous ammonia. Call today to protect your crop yield.
Thanks for staying with us. Now Kyle and Scott will discuss how the proper techniques, persistence, and confidence play a big part in successful horse training.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer. I have the opportunity to visit with Scott Daly. Scott, I've seen him work at many different shows over the last 10 years. And it's always amazing to me to watch him work with horses he had never seen before and able to work miracles with them. I want you to tell us the secret so all of us can do that.
You know, I tell you what, a lot of it's just doing it day in and day out and having confidence in what you do. I mean, there's really actually no secret involved. You have a set of techniques that you stick to and you have confidence in that have success for you than for your horse. You know, you want to make it as easy on them to where, you know, at the end of a session you'll be riding them around if it's a first time rider, it never has been touched. You know, it's your approach. Some horses you can approach a little quicker than other horses. Some horses you got to back off a little bit just reading them, you know, and being, like I said, being able to be, you know, persistent and also confidence. Confidence is the main thing, because with confidence in you, it puts that confidence in that horse. And when that confidence happens in that horse, they get a lot of trust built up. And once they get to where they got some confidence and trust in you, I mean, they're just going around and thinking, hey, you know, this guy ain't hurt me, so why would I not, you know, why would I not trust him? Why wouldn't I want to be willing to get along with him? And even horses even if they've never been touched, they just jump in there, you know, and never had been touched, and I'm roping them and going from there. You know, it all happens, you know, in a short amount of time, but I just try to go at just a steady pace and just read them and don't try to start a fit with them and just go on from there.
You know, truly, though, you've mentioned reading the horse, and I don't think a lot of people do understand that. As you were mentioning that, yeah. I thought about some of the biggest mistakes that I had made with my horses, and as I thought back on it, right. I should have known right. that there was going to, I mean, the horse was telling me right. we were done. We should have quit. Right. And I didn't pay attention to horse time. Exactly. I was trying to put him on my time.
Exactly. And, you know, I mean, it's just like this, and it's not. It's interesting because, you know, some people, it's just they don't know. It's not a bad thing. I mean, it's like I seen a guy, he said, man, I'm having trouble with a bit. And I said, you are? And I got to looking at the bit, and he goes, yeah. He goes, I've got this curb strap tied up as tight as I can get it. And I said, really? And I looked at it as a snaffle bit, a shank snaffle bit. And where you actually put the curb strap, he had it down there where you put the reins. And I'm just like, there's your problem, you know. And he goes, oh, that seems, you know. And I was like, he just didn't know. It wasn't that he's dumb. Anything, shape, or form. When people do stuff like that, it does not mean that they're dumb. I mean, it's not a dumb thing. It's just not knowing. I mean, it happens. It's part of it. I mean, heck, I make mistakes just like everybody else. It's like I was working on my truck the other day, and boy, don't even get me started on that, because I am not no mechanic. That's why I train horses for a living. And you know, my friend, he was kind of laughing at me, and he was like, well, you ain't no good at mechanicing. And I was like, no. He goes, you need to stick with them horses. I said, exactly right. I mean, in a nutshell, that's just how it is, and makes me feel silly doing that, same as it does people working with some of their horses, you know.
We're visiting with Scott Daly, horse trainer. This is Kyle Bauer reporting.
Thanks, Kyle. After the break, we'll learn why U.S. beef producers are stressing the importance of swift approval of the Trans-Pacific Partnership legislation. That's coming up next. Stay with us.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
Biodiesel made from sustainable resources is diversifying our fuel supply. This year, biodiesel will displace over 1 billion gallons of fossil fuel nationwide. It's making our economy stronger and our communities healthier. It's working here and across America. Get biodiesel going in your community. Visit americasadvancedbiofuel.com.
Soil is the life of a farm, and for 25 years, SureCrop Liquid Crop Nutrition has helped growers produce abundant quality crops while preserving and improving the soils they steward. SureCrop offers complete soil and plant analysis with cropping recommendations, delivery direct to your on-farm storage, and quality crop nutrition custom blended for your field. Choose SureCrop for the assurance of excellence for your soil. Call today or visit their website for more information.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
Segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or for more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to Farm Factor. We'll end today with a look at how implementation of the Trans-Pacific Partnership represents a level playing field for U.S. beef exports.
Every day the Trans-Pacific Partnership waits for U.S. congressional approval is one more day that Australian beef gains Japanese market share. That's because tariffs on beef imported to Japan from the land down under are currently more favorable.
This is very, very important to the beef industry in the U.S. because at the moment that TPP is finally implemented, we will be on a level playing field with Australia. That's part of the agreement. So the 10% disadvantage today, which is growing every year, would be put on a level playing field once TPP is implemented. So we're very much looking forward to that, hopefully sooner rather than later.
Hallstrom shares a round numbers example of a $100,000 container of beef going into Japan. It would be at a $10,000 disadvantage to the one coming from Australia.
When we can get that duty, inbound duty, equal to Australia, we're going to be even that much more competitive. Now, granted, Australia is more grass-fed, we're grain-fed. The quality differences are there. That we've spent years working on that. Consumers in Japan know our quality difference and are willing to pay for it. My point is that if that $10,000 should be going into our pocket, and it will be once TPP is implemented. So this is huge. That's one container out of thousands a year that are exported to Japan. So this is big, really big, the TPP for the beef industry in terms of maximizing the value opportunity.
Although trade organizations like the U.S. Meat Export Federation are working on the issue, cattlemen can also play a role.
They should be vocal. They should tell their congressmen the importance of the passage and implementation of TPP from a trade perspective for beef. I mean, it helps most coming from the producer's side. Producers need to talk to their senators and their representatives, make sure that they know the importance of having this passed sooner rather than later to their business. That would be vital to get the message out.
Today, exports add $279 per head marketed, and long term, that value is expected to grow in tandem with the world population and the global middle class.
We are one of the lowest cost producers in the world of high quality beef, and most of these countries that we're selling are not low cost producers. So their ability to supply themselves is limited, so they need to import. So you add all that together and it's a recipe for increased imports of beef, high quality beef, and the U.S. is well positioned to capitalize on that.
I'm Bob Cervera.
Thanks for joining us. I'm your host, Jamie Bloom, and I hope you enjoyed today's show. See you next week on Farm Factor. We're here every Tuesday on Ag AM in Kansas.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.